Hello my fellow duelists, Spaceman Drew here, back at you with another video. So today I have Decklist, Test Hand, and Duels for the Appliancer archetype. Now I have two ways to play this deck. We can play it in an almost pure Appliancer, even though Appliancers really don't have too many monsters. Main deck monsters, right? And then I have another way where we're using the Adventure Engine, because all you're doing is special summoning. It's going to be rare that you're going to use the effect of a normal summon monster. While you can use the effect of Appliancer Soccer Troll, right? You're not going to really be using that, you know, because all you're going to be doing is special summoning. So the Adventure Engine is perfect for this. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get on to these test hands. I mean, not test hands, I'm sorry, the deck list. Alright guys, so here's the deck list. I'm not going to go over every card, just a few key cards. We're running the Adventure Engine in this. It's completely amazing in here because we don't care about activating the effects of our normal summon monsters. All we're going to be doing is special summoning. So this is perfect. We have a Legal Knight in here too, which can be clutch sometimes. Soccer Troll and 4-month Skipper, really good cards, right? 4-month Skipper can serve as an extender or in a pinch to recover, say if your board has been destroyed, right? Because you could target one of your level Link 1 monsters in your extra deck, and it becomes that 4-month Skipper becomes that name. So that helps with special summoning with Soccer Troll and as well as Copy Buckle. Next, Machine Duplication, really good card. Your Build Spell, Appliancer Electrical World. This right here is one of your main searchers. And it also, it just moves your Appliancer monsters. It pretty much plugs them in and plugs them out of Appliancer Octopus, which is the Ringmaster for this entire archetype, right? And the main thing that you're going to be doing is going to be building up your board and going into Nightmare Griffin to shut down all your opponent's monster effects. Special summon monsters on the field cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. So you want to floodgate your opponent with that. Then we have a way to board swipe our opponent with Evil Swarm, should things just, you know, go completely crazy or whatnot. So really that's really much about it. Board Breaker and Dark Ruler No More, and evenly matched, right, to keep us in the game. And then because this meta is banishment, Ice Dragon Prison to banish at least something from our opponent's you know, board, graveyard, whatnot. So now let's get on to the test hands. Okay guys, here's the first test hand. Now before I start playing, before I even tell you anything, I'm not going to be doing test hands for the pure Appliancer deck because you're doing the exact same combos. The only thing that is different is that we have the Adventure Engine. That is the only thing that is different. So I'm going to show test hands for the Appliancer deck featuring the Adventure Engine. So as you can see, we're going second. We already drew for turn. The card that we drew was Fateful Adventure. Now obviously we have a few things in our hand, right? We have our Field Spell, which searches an Appliancer monster. We have 1-for-1 Machine Duplication, which is ridiculous that we have that in our hand, right? And we have 4-month Skipper. So there's a few things that we can do here, right? We can activate Faithful Adventure, right? So we can get our let's get our Water Enchantress. We're going to send Water Enchantress to the grave because obviously, because we can banish Water Enchantress from the grave to get our Rider Aramasir. We're going to activate Rider Aramasir, so that way we can get our Adventure token. Now Faithful Adventure's effect is going to activate, and the card that we're going to get is obviously going to be Dracoback, I'm sorry. And we want to equip this card. Okay, so now we still have a few things to do, right? We can activate 1-for-1, right? Which is going to send 4-month Skipper to the grave. But what we're going to do is we're going to activate our Field Spell, Appliancer Electrical World. And the card that we want to get is going to be We can add Appliancer Reuse, but we're going to get our copy of Socket Troll. Okay, and then we're going to activate our copy of One for One. We're going to send 4-month Skipper to the grave, and then the card that we want to special summon is going to be our Appliancer Breakup Uncle, right? And the reason why we're special summoning this card is so we can have our protection from destruction, right? And guess what? We have Socket Troll, and because we have an Appliancer monster on the field, we can special summon Socket Troll from our hand, right? But instead of doing that, what we're going to do first is normal summon our Appliancer Socket Troll. Now, when you're playing Appliancer, there's going to be so much materials on the board. You have to slow down and make sure you pay attention to what you're doing. So we're going to normal summon our Appliancer Socket Troll first, okay? We're going to activate our machine duplication. Now we can target either Socket Troll or Breaker Buckle. It doesn't matter. Me personally, I'm going to target Breaker Buckle. That way I can make sure I have multiple crazy protection from destruction and those type of things. So we're going to special summon. We're going to go into our Appliance Receptacles. We're going to use our Socket Troll and our Breaker Buckle. Now, because once per turn, if you link summon an Appliancer link monster, you can add one Appliancer monster from your graveyard or from your graveyard to your hand. So this is a great way to recover monsters. The card that we're going to add is going to be our Socket Troll, because guess what? We can special summon this card from our hand. So before we special summon our Appliancer Socket Troll, we're going to go into one of our main plays. We're going to special summon our Code Breaker. Remember, you have to co-link these monsters to activate their effects. So, special summon our Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. We're going to activate Virus Swordsman's effect. Special summon one Codebreaker monster from our deck, hand, or graveyard, I believe. And we're just going to put it right here. The next card we're going to make is going to be our level 3 Codebreaker Virus Berserk, right? And we're going to use that with our 2 Codebreaker cards. Okay, so now when this card is special summon, if it's co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreaker monsters from your hand and their graveyard to any zone a link monster points to. This is very good because obviously it gives us more bodies on the board. So we're going to special summon our Codebreaker Virus, and we're going to special Zero Day. Okay, now we have a second effect. This also helps with breaking your opponent's board. During your main phase, you could destroy spell or traps your opponent controls up to the number of linked Codebreaker monsters you control on the field. We control 3, so we're going to get rid of our entire opponent's back row. We're going to destroy this, and we're going to pop that. The entire opponent's back row is gone now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go right into our Nightmare Griffin. We're going to use our Swordsman Codebreaker as 2 materials. We're going to use Virus Day and 0. There we go. Now we have our Nightmare Griffer. Now our opponent's special summon monsters cannot activate their effects. They are under a floodgate. Now, what we could do, we could send 1 card from our hand to grave, right? And we could, we could get Rider Arrow, Masir back. We could get 1 for 1 or Machine Duplication or what have you, whatever. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to activate that. It would be nice for us to draw a card, but we have Ash Blossom in hand and we do need Appliancer Socket Troll. So it's not really good for us to use this effect. So we're not going to use it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to activate Appliancer Socket Troll, special summon. Now we're going to go into our Appliancer Vacuum Flint because the arrow is diagonal to the right. So now our Vacuum Flint is now co-linked with our Septuplus. We are fully jacked into the matrix now. Now, Vacuum Flint has an effect where if this card is co-linked, you can send a little monster from your hand to the grave to destroy and the monster in your opponent's main monster zone. Or if it's not co-linked or whatever, you can send 1 card from your hand to the grave. But we have Draco back on the field, so what we're going to do is activate our Draco back, and we're going to return the only card that our opponent has on the field back to hand. Now this board is not anything crazy, but your opponent's going to have to really navigate through this, right? We have half of our adventure engine. We have Nightmare Griffin, which is obviously it's a lockdown for our opponents. This is a floodgate, so your opponent's going to have to get rid of this first. And then we have Ash Blossom Enhanced that our opponent wants to add cards or whatever. So we have 5,000 attack on board, right? This is ridiculous. That's a lot. That's if your opponent can't do anything on their next turn, trust me, you're going to win the game. So now I'm going to show you another test hand. Okay guys, here we are. We're going second once again. If you want my input, I would say you want to go first more often than you go second, so that way you can set up your board, get right into your Nightmare Griffin, and floodgate your opponent out of monster effects. So the card that we drew for turn was our Ash Blossom Enjoy Spring, and this hand is actually really decent, right? Because we have our Appliancer Control, Breaker Buckle, we have Machine Duplication, and we have our Faithful Adventure. So first things first, what we're going to do is we want to obviously not activate, but get our Faithful Adventure ready. We're going to normal summon our Breaker Buckle. We're going to activate the effect of Faithful Adventure, so that way we can get our Draco back. We're going to add this card from to our hand. Now we're going to activate Machine Duplication to special summon both our copies of Breaker Buckle from the deck. We're going to go right into our Celtipus. Now, if you guys want, you can go, there's a few things that you obviously can do here, right? We can activate the effect of our Faithful Adventure, and we're going to get our Water Enchantress, send Water Enchantress obviously to the grave, search for our Rider Ara's Messier, activate our Messier's effect, then if you want, you can still go into your Nightmare Griffin, but what we're just going to do is we're going to keep things a little bit simple and as pure as Appliancer as we can for right now. We're going to activate Control's effect, special summon Control. We're going to, and the cards that we're going to special summon as our Appliancer Propeller Iron. Remember, your cards must be co-linked, which means the arrows must point at each other and they have to connect to get up all of your effects. This is a co-linked deck. I cannot stress, you have to co-link your monsters. The arrows must be pointing at each other and they must connect. We're going to special summon our Appliancer Decklist. Now, we can do a few things, right? Obviously, we can spin a card with our Draco back, so we're going to spin that back row, get rid of that immediately. And then we can pop a card, so the card that we're going to pop is going to be, obviously, it's going to be the Disposition monster. Now, because we have two monsters plugged in to Appliancer Celtipus, right? Your battling monsters gain attack equal to the number of monsters co-linked to this card. Your Appliancer monsters do, time 1,000, right? And because we have two, that's 3,000 attack, right? So let's go to the battle phase. Now, Propeller Line is a really good card, right? Because this card's effects reads, once per turn during damage calculation, if your monster battles an opponent's monster while this card is co-linked, quick effect, you can make that opponent's monster's attack 0 during that damage calculation only, which is very strong. This is a very, very strong effect, even though it's a once per turn. And then once per turn during damage calculation, if a monster that is not co-linked battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you make that opponent monster's 0 attack. So this card is kind of a central theme, because obviously you can see that the Appliancer monsters, the link monsters, even the main deck monsters they don't have a really high attack, right? And the main deck monsters have no attack and no defense at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack, Appliancer Septipus effect is going to go off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to activate the effect of our Appliancer Propeller Lion, which is going to lower the attack to 0. So we're going to swing it for big 3,000 damage right now. Bam! 3,000 to the face. Opponent activates effect, floating effect. And then we're going to swing in for our 1,200. And then we're swinging again for our 2,000. Now the opponent is literally on the lifeline. We're going to set our card by the grave, and then we will pass turn. Now, as you guys can see, we have our Ash Blossom, right? So our opponent can't draw a card, right? Dracoback is still on the field. Faithful Adventure is still on the field. So that way, the Adventure token can survive one battle. And then we have our Appliancer Propeller Lion and our Septipus, which gives us a attack buff and gives your opponent attack debuff. So this board might not be super strong, but it will get you through a little something. Then we have Call by the Grave to get rid of any pesky monsters in the graveyard. So now let's get on to the fun part, the duels. So as you guys can see, the appliancers are really fun. They're kind of complex, right? And as you're plugging in and plugging out your different appliancer monsters, you're really not going to be using that effect as much. But if you want to, it is there, right? Um, but the board can be complex because there's kind of so much going on, so many different bodies. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing. And once you get over that hurdle, it's ridiculous. It's so much fun, especially using the adventure engine. It gives you a negate, and you can spend 2 cards with the legal knight. So we're doing something extra there, and it's just really fun and relatively it's cheap. The entire archetype for the appliancer is really inexpensive. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment on this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified for when I do upload new videos. And always, peace.